Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. I'm your host, Angela Duncan, and speaker, best-selling author, serial entrepreneur, and we talk all things money and business. Today's episode, I'm flying solo. I want to teach you the 5 top secrets as to why being a podcast guest is going to be your single most valuable marketing tool for 2025 for your business. And so I had recently done this presentation for an event, and I just thought, why not share it to the audience as well? I also have a course on this. If you are interested in listening to this podcast, definitely reach out to me. I can make that available for you. But first, I want to start with a little story. I was about 7 years old and I was living with my aunt at the time. And my older cousin convinced me that we were going to make little origami pieces, right, out of paper. I am part Japanese, and we're going to go door knocking, door to door in our neighborhood, and we're going to sell them. And that we did. We made these little origami pieces. We went door to door. And if you imagine a 7 and 8-year-old little girls coming to your house, it's very hard for you to say no to the 25-cent, 50-cent dollar pieces of paper that we were going to sell to you. So I tell that story because I have been an entrepreneur now for almost 40 years, and I feel like I am still clueless when it comes to marketing. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to those types of marketing, but I do know podcasting, and I really want to share with you today the reason why you should be a guest on podcast and why that's going to be the best marketing tool and how you're going to be able to profit for that. So first, we're going to talk about the power behind podcasting. I'm going to give you some statistical information. We're going to talk about those 5 top secrets as to why you need to be a guest on a podcast. And then, of course, how you make money, and finally, what to do to get started. So first, I want to talk a little bit about statistics and the power behind podcasting. Podcasting has 4 million plus active podcasts in the world. I don't know many other places that you can advertise your business across so many different platforms around the world. About a third of podcast listeners make $100,000 or more. About 2/3 of podcast listeners are college educated. About a third of podcast listeners are women. Each podcast listener, like myself, I listen to probably 10 different podcasts every week, but the average listens to about 7. And about 40% of Americans listen to podcasts. So think about, who is your ideal client? Is your ideal client higher educated, higher income earner, perhaps family living here in the US, and they're just waiting to hear your information? They're waiting to hear you as the expert. So think of podcasting as a way for you to tell your story, to show your expertise, and with the perfect pitch, you can close more sales. And it's an incredible platform for you to be able to do so. So let's talk about those 5 secrets, right? The 5 top reasons why you want to be a guest on a platform like podcasting. First one is expertise. It is going to give you instant credibility. The listener knows that that podcast host chose you to be on their show. And when you do a perfect pitch, meaning you go through your story, you talk about your area of expertise with a couple of subtopics, you give them the problem in which you're solving, and then a call to action, you are the credibility person on that podcast. You have elevated your status. You are the instant expert being on a podcast. Number 2 is leads, potential leads, right? The audience that's listening to you could be your client. When you pick strategically which podcast you're going to be on, you're looking for an audience that could potentially be your client. So those are leads that you did not have access to prior. Number 3 top secret is other people's platforms. I'm a podcast host. I put a ton of work in being a podcast host, creating content, finding audience, finding amazing guests. It takes a lot of work. And you as a guest, you get to be a guest on a platform that is already established. You didn't have to put in the work to build that platform, but you get to take advantage of that platform that's already existing for you and your business. Number 4 is the network and credibility that you are building with that podcast host. You just got a one-on-one with that podcast host, 20, 30, maybe 45 minutes of their time. You got to teach them why you are the expert in your field and build that trust so that when they're looking for your service or they know someone looking for your service, they're going to reach out to you and hopefully be a referral partner for you. And that 5 top secrets for being a podcast guest: effortless marketing. I already told you I'm not a genius when it comes to marketing, but when you're on a podcast such as mine, Empower Her Money, when we have recorded it and have published it, my team will send you the Zoom link. You can take that Zoom link and you can easily create reels, create short, YouTube videos showing that you are the expert in your field. You can utilize it to make quotes from your podcast and show, video footage and take some snapshots of it. You can also send that to clients, send that to other podcast hosts to show that you are the expert in your field. And here's why. I love effortless marketing because you can just reuse that content over and over for your business. So when you are a guest on a podcast, here are some ways that you are going to generate income. One is give away a freebie, right? With Canva and ChatGPT. Say, for example, you are in the plumbing space. You could give 5 mistakes, that homeowners don't know about their plumbing. You can utilize Canva and ChatGPT to create a 1 or 2 page document. Of course, ask the host if it's okay to give away a freebie. But for example, if you're on that podcast, you're the plumber and you offer that freebie, you can ask them to find you on Facebook or find you on Instagram, put out the name of the podcast, and you'll get their email and email them that freebie. That way you're adding to your database. That's another potential client. You can offer a discount. For example, if I have a guest that comes on my podcast and they say, I will give a 5% discount off my service or off my product if you mention the word empower. That way that guest knows where that lead comes from. But again, you want to drive the traffic back to you. You already have captivated that audience with your perfect pitch. So why not find a way to generate income by bringing that lead to you? Another way is to create an affiliate link that you can give to the host. The host can then put that link in the show notes whenever they advertise that podcast. That's generating traffic back to your website, and it gives the host an opportunity to earn some income from you being a guest on the podcast. So I love that, because if you're giving away a freebie or a discount, include that affiliate link so that I can help promote your business even more. Now, we've talked about the power behind podcasting and the incredible statistics, how many people listen to podcasts. I've given you the top 5 secrets as to why podcasting needs to be your most valuable and greatest marketing tool. We've talked about some other ways and tips to generate income. Now you want to know, well, what's next? How do I become a guest? Now that you're super excited, you want to get on podcast, I'm going to give you a couple of action items. The first one is figure out what your topic is. I want you to brainstorm and write down what that topic is. What are you an expert? And make it a one-liner, kind of catchy, what you can be an expert on a guest podcast, right? So write that down. Number 2, you're going to go to Canva. If you're not already in a Canva account holder, you can set it up for free. And you're going to look for something called a one sheet or a podcast one sheet. What it is a bio about you. You're going to put your photo on it, your social media links, and then you're going to put the topic that you just wrote down and some, catchy phrases on what to name a podcast with you as the guest. Take the work away from the host and make it as simple as possible. So you've got your topic, you've got your one sheet. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go into either Facebook groups about podcasting or LinkedIn groups about podcasting, and you're going to use the hashtag be a guest with your one sheet and a very short bio, but say that you're looking to inspire, teach other audiences on podcast as a guest, and here's the information that you can utilize as a host so that I can get to know you before reaching out to you. Another great ninja tip that you can do on your podcast sheet is if you have a large email database or a social media following, put it on that one sheet, because then you're telling that host that you will share the podcast across your social media, your email platform. And so it'll bring more eyes to the podcast. And as a host, I love it when my guests share the podcast as well. So those are some ways that you can make money from your podcast. And if you're interested in what Facebook groups to join, reach out to me, send me a message on Instagram, Empower Her Money, and I will give it to you for free. There are dozens of Facebook groups, but I will give you a list of ones that I know of and that I've tried and that I look for guests as well. So that's a very valuable free piece of information for you. And I hope that you'll reach out to me and know that podcast guesting is an incredible opportunity. I do not think that podcasts are going to go away. I do think that the numbers are increasing, especially across the globe. And if you have a service or product that can reach outside the US, definitely want to think about being on podcasts that are not local as well. I've interviewed people from London and Dubai, from Australia, all over across the world, and I absolutely love promoting women. So don't forget to share this podcast, give it a 5-star review. That's how we reach and inspire more people. And you have been listening to Angela Duncan, Profit from Podcasting. My course is available. Reach out to me on Instagram, Empower Her Money, and I will send you all the details on how you can start creating income from being a guest on a podcast. Are you a business owner looking to increase your profit? Imagine transforming every podcast guest appearance to profit. It's your turn to shine as a podcast guest. I have created a course just for you. It's the secret to profiting from podcasting and being a guest. Go to podcastmoneymagnet.com today and check out this incredible course that's going to teach you how to grow your brand and grow your bank account. Feel the shift as you master being a podcast guest. Podcastmoneymagnet.com today.